Hi, I'm Jill, Movement and Wellness Educator. Thanks for joining me if you're new here, and if you're a regular, welcome back. In today's video, we'll do a full body circuit using free weights, and if you don't have free weights, you can use a resistance band or still join in just using your body. Grab yourself some water and look after your body. I'll see you on the inside in just a few seconds. Hi, let's get moving. So make sure your weights are handy and your water, and we're going to start with a little bit of a warm-up through the hands, wrists, and forearms. Getting some gentle motion with some flamenco hands, circling the wrists, bringing them overhead, opening wide, and coming all the way back to center. Let's take it one more in that direction. You can shift your lower body, just getting some little bit of weight shifting going on if that helps you come into the now. And then opening wide and reversing. It might take you a moment to find that different pathway of motion. Just some little weight shifts in the lower body and some gliding motion in your hands, wrists, and forearms. You might find some snags. If you find anything that's kind of jammed or stuck, just take an extra moment there. And then we're really going to use our first circuit with the weights to do a specific warm-up. And then just give your hands a little bit of a shake. And we'll do a tiny bit of tapping to wake up our upper bodies as well. So bring your fingertips to your sternum, and just a little bit of tapping, tapping right on the mic there, and across your collarbones, back and forth, and then just some patting down your arm, and then back up onto your neck, down your arm, back up, and switch sides. You can be still in the lower body or that little bit of weight shifting, either way, whatever feels right to you today. Sometimes we need stillness, sometimes we need some gentle motion to get out of some stagnation. And last time, and then we're going to take a gentle tap down the outside of our thighs and back up. Keeping your hands connected to the outside of your body just is a good way to get into a clean hinge without obsessing about your hamstrings being tight. And coming back up, and this time we're going to go down the outside and come up the inside, across the front of the thighs, and again down the outside and up the inside. And just take a moment, some fists to your SI joints back there, whatever feels right. If fists don't feel good, you can take your palms open. Waking up, hello body, we're going to need you for the next however long this takes. And then just give yourself another little shake out and come to rest. So we're going to start similar to if you join me for push-pull squat. We're going to move through a squat, push, pull. Not necessarily the same exact exercises, but today it will be a sequence of 6 instead of just the 3, and we'll repeat it 2 times. So find a weight that feels right to you. The other thing I was gonna say is that we do have a repetition goal today, so wanting you to feel challenged between 12 and 14 repetitions of any exercise. So you're in charge of adjusting your own weight to make that happen. The first set here is a learning curve, figuring out, I have my weights jammed here. There we go. This first set is a bit of a learning curve for you to figure out what your weight needs to be at. So if you need to pause me, go ahead and do that while you sort out what will be challenging for you and effective. Hello, Lilith. This is my kitty, Lilith. We like to call her Lettuce. And let's get going. So pick up your weights, get your feet right underneath your hip sockets there. And we're going to move into a squat, a basic squat. We're just going to take it nice and easy. Take it down and bring it up. That's one. Soften and hinge. And come back home. That's two. Easy in the hip sockets. Bring it down. And coming up, three. And again, take it down, four. Feeling nice and lubricated in those hip sockets, five. And lower. And standing tall, six. And easy through the knees, hips, ankles. Standing up, seven. And take it down, eight. And nine. Getting your breath calmed down. If you notice your breath is getting away from you, just take a moment and pause me and regroup at any time. I think that's 11, 12, and 13. This first set, I'm not feeling very challenged, but it's just kind of a get moving set, and 14. And give yourself a little bit of shakeout. And we're going to move into an overhead press. I think I'll keep the weight same for that. You might find that you can really vary your weight quite a bit between a squat and an overhead press. So finding a stance that feels comfortable to you, either a split stance with some rocking and motion, or a wide stance, or just your feet under your hips. And here we go, taking it overhead, take your eyeballs with it. 1 and 2. Keeping the very bottom tips of your shoulder blades nice and soft, but heavy. 3 and 4. Good. Trusting that the weight will tell you where to go. 5 and 6, 7. Good. Feeling that it's got a nice arc to it. It's not really linear. 8. Definitely I'm feeling challenged at 7.5 pounds here. 9. 10. 11, it's fine to move your head and neck. I'm not someone who feels like you have to keep your focus forward. If you were pushing a box overhead or something, you would actually be looking at what you were doing. It's really functional to complete the curve of the full extension. I'm not sure where we're at, but I'm getting exhausted. I think I'm pretty close. And I'm gonna rest. Good. So we're gonna move into a bent over row now. I think this weight feels pretty good to me, but I do need to take a little bit of a water break and catch my breath. I feel like I'm getting a little bit anaerobic, so a little bit like I can't sustain at that level if I don't stop for just a moment. So feel free to do the same if you need to. And then just regroup, gather your weights. And this is similar to what we did in our previous video, if you joined me for that. So bring your toes forward. Get your feet right underneath your hip sockets, that 1 to 2 fist width placement. And find a gentle hinge. Sense a connection between the tip of your head and the tip of your tailbone. And here we go. 1, 2. You're going to be in charge of keeping track of your own repetitions, because I feel like it's not the best use of my teaching efforts to just count repetitions for you. I can better serve you by giving you some pointers as we move. So keeping your shoulder blades nice and slippery on your rib wall, and keeping your tummy gently supported but also allowing it to move with your breath. And just see if you can keep that motion going and the breath connected, and coming all the way until you find that 12 to 14 repetition range. And just notice what's calling your attention. Just because this is a row, it might not necessarily be shouting to you in your upper back. It could be that your weakest link is somewhere else entirely. Maybe it's your calves or the front of your thighs. It could be anywhere. And just finding a couple more, coming to that end of repetition range, and rest. Okay, I'm gonna re-rack there. I'm just looking at my notes here. So moving into a single leg balance with some triceps. So I find that you might need to lower the weight. So I was just at 7.5 pounds each, and I'm definitely going to need to go down to 5 for triceps. Let me get my weights to work here. Okay, so we're going to add a single leg balance here. Finding your weight on one leg, take that little bit of a glide to one side, get your pelvis oriented over that support leg. You'll be totally screwed if you try to shift to one leg without shifting first. And then take your other leg back. You can keep your toes down, or you can gently hover the leg, whatever feels right to you today. And then just hinge forward a little bit. And we're going to take a tricep extension with extending and then bending, reaching long and then folding in. Good. Reaching long and folding in. And your tummy is supported and still sensing that connection between the tip of your head and your tailbone, and your pelvis floating high over that support hip. And again, just notice what's calling your attention. Maybe it's not the back of your arms. Maybe it's your standing leg. That's what's calling to me today. And allowing your breath to soften and just smooth out any edges in your body that are feeling disconnected. And take it back. And we're just going to swap here. So I probably did a few too many reps, but what I wanted to mention there is that you're going to do a total of 12 to 14 in that tricep extension. So we're going to switch legs halfway through. So again, getting your weight oriented over that support leg before you send that other leg back. Tilt yourself forward, and here we go. 6 to 7 on this side. Sensing where the stillness is and where the motion is. Good. Continuing that motion, nice and circular, until you reach that repetition endpoint. And I'm going to take one more here and rest. And then we're going to move into a lunge with a bicep curl. So it's not necessarily the case, but on my body, I'm able to use a little more weight for that than I am for triceps. I've found that that's typically the case for women. So I'm going to up my weight. I'm actually going to double it. So I was at 5 pounds for triceps, and that felt like plenty for me today, but I also feel not totally full energy today. So every day is different, and you just have to respect that. 10, that feels nice and solid. You want to feel challenged, and sometimes when the weight's too light, it actually is harder because you can't feel what's going on. You don't have a good feedback loop between your weight and your body. So pick a leg, bring it forward, step your other leg back, and you're gonna be on the ball of your foot on the back leg and nice and grounded through the front leg. And palms facing forward, soft through the collarbones, and just think of both of your thigh bones nice and slippery and spinning in those hip sockets. Here we go, take it down. 1 and 2. And 3, if you find that you're losing your balance, just try and regroup. 4, imagining your biceps as the lever arm, bringing those weights up. And again, we're gonna switch lower body halfway through. And I'm gonna take 1 more and then switch. Good. And then just shake it out, but don't rest, switch legs. High on the ball of that back foot. And here we go, take it down and extend and down and extend. Good. Staying organized in your spine, soft in your tummy, soft and connected. And a couple more. And last one. And rest. Go ahead and grab a quick sip of water if you need to. And then I'll fill you in on what's next. A toe raise with some arm circles. So our lever arm is literally going to be the full length of our arms. So you might find you're absolutely going to need to lower your weight, but you might find that just the weight of your arms is enough. And I'm going to do the first set with just the weight of my arms. Bringing your feet right underneath you again, and those arms stretched out nice and long, splitting the difference between front and side. We're going to take a toe raise and some arm circles. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whoa, 7, and rest. So that's one complete circuit. We did a pattern of kind of something squatting, something pushing, something pulling. We repeated that again, so there were 6 exercises, and we're gonna do that whole thing again. So grab some water, catch your breath, and then we'll get moving on round 2. If anything was too challenging and you weren't able to complete the repetition goal of 12 to 14, then you're going to increase your weight a little bit. And if the reverse was the case, then look after yourself in that direction as well. So let's see. I'm going to definitely up my weight for a squat. I'm going to go up to 15. Actually, I'm going to take it up to 20. We'll see if I can still talk to you and do that at the same time. Let's see. Okay. All right, here we go. Get your feet aligned underneath you. Toes are pointing forward. And you can choose based on how much weight you've picked up if you want to have it down by your side or rack it up on your shoulder girdle. Here we go. Taking it down and up and down and up. That's 3 and 4 5 and 6, halfway, 7, 8, concentrating on your alignment, 9, 10, 11, okay, feeling super challenged here, last one, 12, and bring it up, and I'm going to absolutely need to re-rack, excuse me, before I go into an overhead press. I am going to challenge myself a little bit though. I used, let me just catch my breath here. I used 7.5 pounds for an overhead press on the last time. So I'm only telling you just for a reference point. I'm going to go up to 10 pounds on this set. That first set, or that first round, as I mentioned, was kind of a warm-up / information gathering session. Yep, that feels about right to me. You don't have to do the same lower body as you did the first time. Do what feels right this session. Here we go, bring the weights up and take your eyeballs with the weights. 1, 2, strong through your upper body and back, 3, and 4, nice and grounded through your lower body, even if it's moving. 5, 6, think about that lower tip of each shoulder blade staying soft and heavy. 8, 9, 10. Oh man, I think I can finish it. 11. And 12. So you want to feel challenged, but not like your movement pattern is getting compromised. It's too heavy if you can't stay inside of your body and your alignment is all over the place. So moving into a bent over row, I feel like I need to lower, well, I'm going to start at 10, what I just did for overhead press, and see how it goes. If you need to mix it up halfway through, that's fine. You know what? That actually feels like it's maybe a little bit not challenging enough. I'm going up a bit, 12.5 pounds each. And I'll just show you from a different angle this time, maybe head on. So here we go, hinge and soften, come on down. And sense a connection between your head and your tailbone. And it's as if someone has pulled a string on either elbow to just glide those weights up. 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, halfway there, crack in my elbow, 7, 8, 9, good. Take 2 more. Where are you noticing sensation? And last one here, 12. Can you shake your thigh bones? That's a good indicator of if you're gripping anywhere or not unnecessarily, and release. Okay, so where are we? Single leg balance with a tricep extension. I know that that is still a challenging thing for me, so I'm going to lower. I did 5 pounds round 1. I'm going to come down to 7.5 pounds and see how that goes. Again, I'm just gonna do it head on for a different perspective this time. So pick a leg, glide your pelvis over that leg, feel that spiraling support on the standing leg before you take your other leg back and tilt. And bring those elbows up. Keep those shoulder blades nice and soft and gently resting on your rib wall, noticing that there's a curve to both the shoulder blades and the rib wall. 3, 4, 5, good. 6, yep, that felt about right. We're gonna switch. Get your feet under you, glide to the other side, reach it back, hinge, bring those elbows up, and here we go. 1, I'll try to not bash my mic pack. 2, and 3, and 4. If you're feeling adventurous, take that leg up. 5, and 6, and rest. I definitely need a drink of water. You do the same, and then we'll meet up for our lunge with bicep curls. Okay, I'm going to take the weight up to 10. That's what I did last time. It felt pretty good actually. I think it was about right for this. Well, yeah, I think that's about right. Okay, pick a leg, bring it forward, send your other leg back, find the ball of the foot, soften and widen both of your shoulder blades, and rotate your palms forward. Here we go, take it down. 1, and 2, keeping your shoulders stacked over your hip, and sensing the gentle curves of your spine. 3, 4, 5, I'm just gonna go to 6 here and then swap legs. And 6, and switch it out. Get regrounded here. Find your weight, find your shoulders over your hips, and find your breath. Here we go. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. I'm definitely glad I didn't increase here. 5, and 6. Again, it might not be your biceps that's calling your attention. And rest. Hopefully you have a bit of a sweat on before we move into our last thing for the day, and then a bit of a cool down. So toe raises with arm circles. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to see what a little bit of weight feels like today for this set. If it's too heavy, I'll put it down. So circling and rising to the balls of the feet. We'll take 6, that's 3, 4, 5, and 6, and reverse. 1, you keep going. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and rest. So circling and rising to the balls of the feet. We'll take 6, that's 3, 4, 5, and 6, and reverse. 1, you keep going. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and rest. So that's it for our weights portion, and let's just move through a gentle cool down. So allowing your breath to soften back into the body, and for your brain and your body to digest everything that you just did and kind of integrate it and make an improvement. So bring your arm across your chest with me and just notice a gentle sensation, hopefully across the back top side of your shoulder and maybe down the outside of your arm. And just switching sides, you can vary your legs a bit, keeping your palm just gently open and soft. And rest. Let's take it, into a thigh stretch here. If you have something to hold on to, awesome. I'll have to just challenge my balance. Just let your thigh bone relax. Imagine it just kind of hanging down like a nice soft cloth. And noticing if you're tensing anywhere. And try and relax. And switch sides. Again, there's a weight shift, so even stretching is really interesting. There's always a strength component to stretch because for something to lengthen, something else has to ground and organize and kind of stay in place would be one way of thinking of it. So things never happen in isolation. There's always, even in weightlifting, there's a stretching component to it. It's not just about shortening and compressing and compacting. It's about moving through a nice range of motion, improving your strength, improving your balance, and just having something fun and different to interact with as a prop. It gives you good feedback. And rest. And I'm going to take a gentle calf stretch. I actually like it against, sorry to stick my back to you, but I'm going to stick the ball of my foot against the couch. If you have a wall or something, go ahead and do that. Just kind of getting into all of this tissue down through the back side of your lower leg. And taking a few breaths there, and then relaxing and switching. You don't have to rotate. I'm just trying to not turn my back to you. So when you've felt enough sensation in that spot. Again, stretching isn't about forcing anything. It's about being super gentle and just allowing a few minutes of stillness so that your body can organize into that shape or movement pattern. And rest. Good. Let's just take one more thing, arms behind the back, and we're just going to gently hinge and undulate, coming over, rolling up through the spine. Head is the last thing to come tall. Again, stick your butt out, stick your chin out, roll it forward, and undulate up. And last one here, stick your head out, stick your butt out, roll it down, and roll it up. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed another session of strength training, let me know in the comments.